The Simpsons has to be one of the most enthralling animated sitcoms to ever grace our television sets. There's no question about it. Unfortunately, The Simpsons had some downright unintentionally weird and awkward moments during its run on TV, and it will probably continue to do so. This is my top 5
What the fuck?
moments from The Simpsons.
Number 5. Yes, but what man can tame her? This little doozy comes from Lisa's Pony, Season 3, Episode 8. Just take a look.
She certainly tamed that horse.
Yes, but what man can tame her? Yes, but what man can tame her?
If you're familiar with Ralph Wiggum, you can tell right away that isn't his fucking voice, okay? Yes, everyone will probably let me know he wasn't an established character at the time and had no story arc to him yet. But, sorry, that character with that voice just does not compute.
Yes, but what man can tame her?
Is there a missing scene where Ralph falls off the fence and Lisa's horse Buttercup starts stomping the shit out of his testicles? Is that why he sounds goofy throughout the rest of the episodes? And never mind, not only is that not Ralph's real voice, but did they have to make him say the most eeriest thing ever?
Yes, but what man can tame her?
That didn't even sound majestic or poetic at all, it was just downright blah. Seriously, that sounds like something Ted Bundy would say, not Ralph Wiggum.
Yes, but what man can tame her?
That boy ain't right.
Number 4. Homer's Wacky Walk Cycle. In this absurd scene from Homer Palooza, Season 7, Episode 24, we see that Homer purchases a Rastafarian hat. He tries on the hat in hopes of it making him look rad and cool. But no, of course, the hat doesn't make Homer look cool. And neither does his uncanny strut he does here.
The people. The young people. All right, yeah. Cool concert, am I right?
Just look at it. Did Homer all of a sudden get spina bifida? No wonder Brent Forrester and Wes Archer left The Simpsons after this episode. Number 3. Lisa gets shit-faced. Now we're heading into some real body horror. This oddball scene comes from Simpsons roasting on an open fire. Season 1 from Episode 1. What? You found something out of place in the first episode, you say? This can't be, but pardon my galoshes, I can't let this one slide. I freaking love this episode, no doubt about it, and I can go as far as to say it's one of the best-known Christmas specials in history. Anyhow, we have Marge, Lisa, Maggie, Grandpa, Patty, and Selma all sitting on the couch watching the happy little elves. Patty says a sarcastic remark about Homer being a lousy person, which jolts Lisa into questioning Patty about her opinion on Homer. Patty explains, then Lisa throws her 2 cents in to defend Homer. But just look at the fucking animation they used for Lisa in this scene. What the hell's with Lisa's head and face? It just keeps rotating on a loop to 3 different formations while she talks. Like, how cut rate were the animators for this episode? Seriously. James L. Brooks, you're one awesome guy. And I really hate to criticize your work ethic here, but you being producer and executive producer for The Simpsons, how the hell did you let this happen? Did you think no one would have noticed this grotesque animated sequence? Well, I have. And wow, is it messed up. Didn't you or your animation staff take any consideration during pre-production of this pilot episode? Okay. I'm making this sound more heinous than it actually really is. I assure everyone we'll get to even more batshit crazier stuff than this. Number 2. Worst cameo ever. If there's one thing The Simpsons is widely known for, it would have to be for its celebrity cameos and guest stars. Like really, I believe they have 20 celeb cameos for every season. But the one celebrity guest that sticks out the most in my opinion would have to be Bret the Hitman Hart's cameo from The Old Man and Lisa, the 21st episode of the 8th season. Of course I have to mention something about pro wrestling in this video. I find this cameo of Bret Hart just so out of place. First off, out of all the people, why have Bret Hart purchase Mr. Burns' mansion? And second, why is he such a fucking jerk?
Ooh, this place has got old man stink.
Ooh, be all right if I kept this portrait to remind me of better times.
Why would I want a picture of a pitiful pencil neck geek?
Seriously, this cameo of the Hitman serves them no justice. I bet after viewing this episode, people are likely going to assume that Bret Hart goes around in his pink tights and berates old men on a day-to-day basis. But it gets even more witless. You probably thought someone from the Simpsons animation department just randomly drew a stencil of Bret Hart and added him to the show without his knowledge or consent. But the sad thing is, Bret Hart was fully aware about his cameo for this episode. Hell, he even made it clear he wanted his animated self to still be wearing his traditional pink wrestling attire. And yes, he even did his own voice as well.
Why would I want a picture of a pitiful pencil-neck geek?
So that rude, obnoxious voice you hear is actually Bret Hart's voice. In my opinion, this cameo wouldn't be so damn diddly if they just maybe used a different wrestler. I honestly don't picture Bret Hart acting like such a mean-spirited person in real life. Unless you count that one time in Montreal. But other than that, what the hell, Simpsons? Oh, hey, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. If you do, you'll be the most badass motherfucker on the block. Finally, we reached the #1 slot for this video. Homer's Odyssey. Oh my gosh, this whole episode can be a top what the fuck moments within itself. This is Homer's Odyssey, Season 1, Episode 3. Where to begin? Well, I can start by mentioning how the animation in this episode gets pretty messed up every now and then. Like this part, for instance.
Hey, Bart, our dad says your dad is incompetent. What does incompetent mean? It means he spends more time yakking and scarfing down donuts than doing his job. Oh, okay. I thought you were putting him down.
Yes, you are right. Homer can sometimes be a little incompetent from time to time. But you know what? At least he has a body attached to his head. Like, what the hell, Sherry? How come you decided out of the fucking blue to turn into that creepy floating ghost head from that indie horror game Eyes? I'm just amazed by this episode and its weird synonymous animation. For example, this other scene where Marge turns into Gumby all of a sudden.
How could you
And her
think
lines
of
don't
killing
even sink in
yourself?
with her lips.
We love you.
Oh, and the background and foreground animation in this episode is just farce. Like, look at the crowd of people they used for the background scenery in this episode. Half of them have misshapen faces and giant chrome dome heads. Like, seriously, look at these background characters. We got this one guy right here. He looks like he's dressed up like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And then we got Ernie right here from Sesame Street, just in the crowd. And then we got some conjoint twins. And also some other freakish-looking background characters. I'm just lost for words. But it's not just the characters in the background either that have giant GoldenEye 64 DK mode heads or odd facial expressions. There's this one part where they show Mr. Burns spying on Homer's rally from the top of his office, and for some reason, his head is suddenly humongous. Like, what happened? Did he just get a brain tumor? Or how about this part where Homer's going to kill himself, but then the rest of the Simpsons family show up, and the only two that look shocked about Homer's attempted suicide is Marge and Maggie. Because it looks as though Lisa's in complete intrigued about her father killing himself, and Bart just has this big happy grin on his face.
Do it, Dad.
Like, fuck, man, this just looks sickening. And not only this scene, but fuck, there's a lot of weird facial expressions from the Simpsons and characters from time to time in this episode. Speaking of weird facial expressions, I'm guessing the majority of people on the internet have Facebook, which is good because I know a really awesome Facebook page called Best Simpsons Faces. I'll leave a link so all of you watching this video can check it out and maybe like. But the biggest unpardonable sin of all for this episode is Black Smithers. Black freaking Smithers. You all knew this was coming. Seriously, the animators just pulled a Harvey Dent on Waylon Smithers. Like, did he contract vitiligo from working at the Springfield power plant for too long, or does Smithers like to hit the tanning beds a little too much? Ha ha ha. All jokes aside, the whole story to why Smithers was black for this episode was due to an error in the animation process. Even Matt Groening went on record saying, "He was always yellow, and then they painted him wrong once. That is all. At the time, we didn't have enough money to do retakes, so when there were glitches and mistakes, they stayed that way." Maybe that's also the reason for Lisa's awkward head bobbing from The Simpsons roasting on an open fire episode. But thankfully, they caught that Waylon Smithers error. Could you imagine if they kept him as a gay black manservant working for Mr. Burns? I think a lot of people would have been offended if they didn't change him back. Or maybe it would have been funny if they just left Smithers as Mr. Burns' gay black manservant. You never know. Great. I'm probably going to get a lot of social justice warriors on my ass for that comment.
Hate crime!
And that was my top 5 what the fuck moments from The Simpsons. And thank God it's all over, huh? Making this video list was horrible, I tell you. By the end, I thought it was a hummingbird of some kind. Oh, I know Fox Entertainment is going to totally flag me for this video. Ugh. Anyway, I'm the Senator. I'm glad you enjoyed this top 5 list. So how about we all go out and get some chocolate frosty milkshakes?